to 8 on BBC Radio Suffolk. A new report out from the Chief Inspector of Prisons says that improvements have been made, but more needs to be done to tackle high levels of violence at Warren Hill Prison. It does say the number of violent incidents at the Young Offenders Institution was very high, and some were serious. Therese Coffey is the local MP and joins us on the line now. Good morning, Therese.
Good morning.
Let's look at the downside of this first. High number of violent incidents, some of them serious. That's still quite worrying, isn't it?
Well, I think it's always disconcerting when there's violent incidents within a prison, especially for young people. I'm not surprised to some extent with reducing the size of the estate. Trying to tackle the issue of gang-related violence is an issue, but I'm confident that the Governor is on the right track with this particular problem.
So things are moving in the right direction as far as you're concerned?
I believe so. I've been to Warren Hill twice in the last 6 months for different things, one visiting with the Secretary of State for Justice, and also to visit an exhibition about the life of Anne Frank, run by the young men themselves. And from what I could see, there seemed to be a much more positive atmosphere in the place compared to 2 years ago when I went after the riot.
And there is a recommendation that Warren Hill should be assisted to move 18-year-olds with behavioural problems to the young adult estate because it's no longer appropriate or in their best interest to remain there. Is that something you back?
Absolutely. Well, Warren Hill does this already in that there are some people who go to Warren Hill because of really quite awful crimes committed while they were younger people, and it's unlikely they will leave prison in the near future. So it is important to make sure that transition is done appropriately. My understanding is that is what is done well in the new units as well as the reception unit. So while I understand that we always look for improvements, I think actually we've seen a sharp increase in morale and in performance since the riot.
There are some recommendations that on the face of them look quite simple. Young people should not be held in court cells for unnecessarily long periods, and young people have lengthy journeys in terms of escorts and transfers to court or are likely to arrive after the evening meal should be offered food and drink during the journey. That should be an easy thing to sort. You'd be surprised that that's not happening enough.
Well, I don't know the technicalities about the rights or wrong things to do when transporting prisoners. Maybe it's just impractical to stop and provide those kinds of refreshments. I think it's fair to say that, with a smaller number of places around the country where we're holding people under the age of 18, there may be further to travel to courts where to answer for crimes that have been committed. But I think I think we should take overall quite a lot of positives from this report. As I say, you can always do better, but I think there's a lot that Governor Bevan and her team should be proud of.
Sure. While we've got you on, Therese, you've been taking to Twitter this morning, as you often do, and you're talking about mobile phone infrastructure. We've got a bit of money, have we, coming our way?
Well, the government announced a couple of years ago a programme to improve mobile phone reception in rural parts of the country. And it was only yesterday that finally Arqiva, who were announced a few months ago to take the project on, have published the map of areas and the kind of the phases in which will be tackled. And I was pleased to see that Suffolk will be in phase 2. So that's good news. Hopefully that will mean sometime by the middle of next year we should see perhaps not every single square foot of Suffolk, but we should see a lot better coverage of mobile phones, which I'm sure will be welcome for residents and tourists alike.
And so mainly this would be just to get rid of some of the spots where you can't get a signal at all, rather than sort of upping the coverage of what people can already get, like from 2G to 3G or even, God forbid, 4G.
Well, it is about 2G, this particular focus. Yeah. However, you'll be aware that the contract has now been awarded for the 4G coverage. That's due to be in place by the end of 2017. That in itself will help mobile phone coverage, but this 2G coverage will be very welcome by many people.
So my phone that I've just got, that's got 4G on it, I mean, I'm going to have to travel miles just to use the latest thing. I'm going to have to go to London, aren't I, to use it at the moment?
Well, I was understanding that Ipswich is in one of the phases of cities to be rolled out in the near future by some of the networks. So I don't know who you've bought it on, but... and I'm sure you're not going to advertise it.
No, I'm not if I can't get it. All right, Therese, thanks for your time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. That's Therese Coffey, the MP for Suffolk Coastal. We will be